Good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead with, we've done the pledge. Go ahead with the board minutes for March 1st, 2022 decision.
What do I do? I move that we accept the board minutes for March 1st, 2022.
I second it.
Any public comment on these? I don't have that side thing, Billy. Do I?
Oh, I can set it here, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, being no public comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed on the minutes. Correspondence. The first one is a Montana and the Sky Aviation Scholarships. For 2022. The next one is a public notification for proposed administrative changes to the forest monitoring plan from the Lolo National Forest. Miss, you can put in your public comment on it. The next one would be Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. It's primarily review of the third CSIR Flint Creek project.
The response to our Part 12D inspection.
Was this put on the web?
What's
It
that?
was, and I included it, uploaded in correspondence. Even though it's part
That
of.
letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it stamped here. I was just going through these first. And the next one is the Granite County Justice Court disbursement. And the last one is comments, public comments, county commission meeting from Susie Browning. We'll probably go over this when Paul gets here, because then he can answer some of the questions. That's fine.
Okay.
I signed or stamped it and
Okay.
signed it, so it's gonna be put in if she's on, letting her know, or I'm letting her know. Any other public comment on the correspondence? We'll go ahead and public comment on matters of commissioner's jurisdiction. It says on this one, number 2, is that the wrong date, isn't it? Did the commissioners review the 2110 road fund?
Which is 2110 is the number for the road fund.
Oh, I think she said.
I'll go get it. I'll get in there and look at it.
I thought it- You just keep this out till fall comes in. Any public comment? morning, Elena. Go ahead.
Good morning, for the record, Elena Gagliano. Regarding the minutes, since we don't see a draft until they're approved and they're put up a few days later, if there's an error on the minutes, how are they corrected? Are they, who do we contact? Billy? And then she corrects it, or is there another, is it put before you again? And you have to approve it with the corrections? Just wondering.
Would you say that one? Yes, our speakers were turned down a little bit. Now we're at getting everything lined out. Go ahead and say that again, please.
All right, regarding the minutes, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the minutes, if it sounds like there's a echo now.
There's not
No.
here. We're listening. Go ahead.
Okay. If we don't get a copy of the draft, so when we do, if there's errors on the minutes, do we contact you guys? And then you have to look at what's supposed to be corrected and then have another, bring it up at another meeting and you go over it. What's the process?
Well, I asked for a public comment on the minutes. We make a motion, Elena, and if there was something you could go then and say, hey, would you look at this? And we can look at it right then when we have it on the agenda at that time.
They don't get a
Well,
draft.
that's the current minutes. I don't know what's on the current minutes. I'm talking about the previous, the one that you already approved, and then we finally see it on the website
Okay.
after the fact. That's what I'm asking.
Well, she can make her comment now on those minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what this is for.
Yes.
It's not.
Do you have a comment, Elena, on past minutes that are incorrect?
No, I'm just asking a general question.
Oh, well, that's what you would do, is address it at this time.
Right.
From last week.
Right.
That's what.
Okay, and then if I did address it, then what would happen?
Yes.
We would look into it and see where you're stating it's wrong, and if it needs to be corrected, it'll be corrected. Where
Okay.
we read it and see it, we're reading the minutes and stating that they're correct. If you're stating they're incorrect, then we'd readdress those minutes.
Okay, I'm not stating anything. I'm just asking a general, so that if I bring it up,
Yeah.
then you're going to pull up the minutes right now and read it and then decide during these 15 minutes. Is that what you said? Or during the, what is it, a minute for the other one, 2 minutes, whatever?
If you have a special spot in the minutes that we need to look at, that you feel that's not right.
Well, we might not address the whole thing in that 15 minutes, but we might put it on the agenda for the next week.
Well, that's what I was asking. That's all I was asking. Where would you put it? Because you've got it on the board minutes for March 1st, 1 minute is the designated time. So if I go and say, yeah, I have a question about the one that was up the week before, in 1 minute, you're going to pull it up and you're going to discuss it and then put it on next week's agenda or what? That's what I'm asking.
Well, we decide that at the time. Maybe we could address the problem right there. Maybe we could.
Okay. In 1 minute, that'll be interesting. Thank you.
And it's never. Any other public comment? I went to that mediation yesterday in Rising Sun.
Oh.
We were there from 8:30 till, I think that done about 3.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
I feel it went really good. It's, just back and forth and trying to figure out what's what, and who's saying what, and what needs to be fixed. And so I thought it went really good. Blaine did a damn good job.
Mm.
And then he was getting emails back from these guys here to help out. I think it's gonna be okay.
Where was it?
Huh?
Where was it?
At the federal, there at the Stockless Law Office in Missoula. Yeah, McLeod, he had his lawyer there, and then we had the mediation guy there. He did a really good job.
Mm.
Back and forth. And there was just a lot of little stuff like they were saying that you could. I don't know if I can talk about it.
No, I don't.
But I feel it went really good.
Good.
Without Blaine here, I just don't want to jeopardize what
No.
come. Yeah, it was a long day. Back and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
Is Paul coming in?
Yeah, he said he was unless something happened, but. Cause he read this stuff already, and he had some comments, so, that's gonna be here. Any public comments? We still have 3 minutes. Folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Yep, it's all done.
Oh, that's that black one.
Yeah.
Becky just brought in a claim on the com data. You guys wanna
On the
look at
what?
it? The com data credit card for, I'll pass it down. Did you wanna look at it?
I believe that it's okay to pay.
No, we got a little weather.
Huh?
Got a little weather.
Yeah,
How much did you get?
about like here.
Okay, it's
East
9:15.
Fork is the best road of all.
It's high.
We'll go ahead, it's 9:15, with the road and bridge weekly report with Superintendent Paul Altair. Morning, Paul.
Morning.
He just handed me a encroachment for Blackfoot and signed it. He's approved it.
So we got all the permits and stuff ready to go for
I think so.
Blackfoot?
Yeah, I visited with him this morning again, and they're gonna do like we talked about last week, just put on every road, if there's 6 on that road, put 6 on it, try not to go over 10. But if there's a road that's got 13 on it, just put 13 on that road, just save a permit, And
But we get paid for each one.
every one we get paid for, yeah, but it's a lot easier for them too, and it's easier for us as well. I mean, just go down one road and hit every single approach, and it'll be, it's works pretty good that way,
So-
I guess.
What's the process? They apply, you go look at it?
Yeah.
And then approve it?
And then
Okay.
bring them up here and you guys sign off on them and then they're good to go.
Do you want to look at that?
Is there just one?
This is a whole different thing even.
Oh. This has nothing to do with the,
No,
okay. Did you want to look at it?
What is it?
It's a permit, encroachment permit.
Where is that?
Princeton.
So how many do you think permits total did Blackfoot say they probably would be sending in? Do you know?
A ton.
That's my area too.
Huh?
That's
what?
my area too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few.
Morning, Blaine.
Word.
Good deal.
I talked with those guys about that dirt patch oil, and right now they have only 5 totes left of the winter oil, but I think we should just wait, because it's $1,295 a tote now.
What's
And
it, 800 last year, Paul?
$895 for the summer oil, and we're probably as well off just to wait, being it's $400 more a tote. Because what happens if we buy it and then it rains all the time, we can't use it.
Yeah.
That's throwing $400 away every time. I think that's
What
bad.
temperature can you use the summer stuff?
We'll be able to use it by May. So
Yeah.
I think that's the best to wait. And they couldn't give me a price on it because they don't know, they're working on it. Maybe we'll know by next, it's gonna be what it is,
Okay, I did get a phone call from Lauren Lucci concerning his road, and I did call Paul. And did you reach out to Mr. Lucci?
I did. Yeah, I told them as soon as the frost is out of the ground, we'll be putting something in there, but not until then, because it just goes away, He was-
Gonna need a cold or something.
No, they just the frost comes out every year and just different spots of that road just keep falling through,
So what's he want? Some gravel?
Dig some of it out, probably put some of that riprap in like we did last time. We just got that stuff from Hans and fill some of them holes in.
About all you can do.
It is. But, there, the tractors going up and down all the time, that frost coming out of the ground, it just rips it out.
Is there any way we can say, don't do the tractors up and down?
Well,
We could say it.
Yeah, well, wouldn't they know that this is the reason that you got a big mud pile or mud hole or
Well,
something? That it's their tractors that are causing it?
it's just the ground, they add to it, that's for sure, but. Anyway. But, yeah, that's just, when the frost comes out, we'll do something with it.
I guess we'll go ahead and jump into this letter from Susie Browning. Everybody's read it. Mike, did you look at it?
No, I didn't.
She had some questions on here. The supervisor can answer some of them, we'll answer some of them, and Blanche explained a couple things to us. Where would you want to start?
No, I'll start with what I had there, where she says that I said about the belly dumps, And my whole thing on the belly dumps was to look for them we need safe belly dumps for the public to run up and down the highway with, and if they're not safe, we gotta do something. If they can't be fixed, we have to do something. And I just wanted to look for belly dumps because in my opinion, in the future, federal money is gonna be hard to get. And if we had a couple of reliable belly dumps that the county could use, we could keep on going with road maintenance and, projects to pop up without having to hire or contract other equipment. And it would save the county a lot of money, and we could keep the guys working. So that was my whole point on that.
You can look this current fiscal year and then to pay for it in the future current year. There's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that. It's called planning ahead.
Yeah, it is.
I think.
Better just looking ahead than wait till last minute, all of a sudden, but he acted on the comments, so he said he was gonna look at them and see what we can do in that too. It wasn't like we just throwing them out.
Right, and it's not like buying anything today. I mean,
Right, yeah. I mean, it was just planning, looking ahead.
Okay, and then on number 4 question, how often are the road department belly dumps used during the year? What we use them to haul sand, we use them to haul gravel.
We use them every time we're doing any road job that has any amount of material hauled, we use them.
I don't know if she's on there or not. Susie, are you on there?
She's,
So,
Maybe just want to do a written letter to her back
yeah, I guess
that Billy and I could work on.
then just answer all the questions and write it back. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
She's not on there. She's probably working.
Yeah, she's not on there. There's no sense in us going through it now.
Well, I would say we should, because this is a public comment that she has submitted to be addressed
Yeah.
right now.
I'm
So,
trying to- yeah, I mean, we're addressing it. I'm not quite sure. It'd be nice to have her on there so we can actually, she knows what we're saying. And, Is there any other public comments?
Well, we
on
got
it?
time, so why don't we just go ahead and answer some of these?
Got 7 questions.
Okay, well, we'll start right with number 1 and work through them. How can the commissioners even consider looking for used belly dumps? No, I realize they haven't been purchased yet. We kind of just answered
I
that.
think I
It's
answered
just pro, future. Any comments on that? Are you here for that or?
I'm not, no,
Oh.
the dam.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so we've answered that one. We'll go to number 2. Did the commissioners review the 2110 road fund budget to see what has been expended thus far?
and I was just looking at it, and it looks like I'm looking at the gas tax. Let's address this, where she's saying that 500,000 was coming out of PILT for the road, and that 80,000 was coming out of PILT for the gas tax fund, which indeed was, and it's been transferred in. And as far as the budget goes, we're looking at it, and halfway through the year, about halfway through the budget. So let me pull it up real quick here,
Okay.
so that you can, let me get it real, budget query.
While she's looking that up, we can answer a couple of these quick ones, like, are the county road department's belly dumps used first?
Yeah, always.
If we can. I mean, like I said, it's coming down to a safety thing on the highway.
Right.
Okay, Blanche has that pulled up. Go ahead, Blanche. I didn't mean to cut
Okay,
you off.
so our appropriation is 1,525,159. And our available appropriation is 635,509. So we've expended 58% in the road fund budget wise, which is the average. This is you're averaging the correct amount. it's a little less than December would have been 6 months. So it's at 58%.
Sounds pretty good.
So it's not overexpended anything.
Well, one thing to clarify too is you weren't considering using the current budget to purchase those.
Right.
No, we're just
Yeah,
giving him
so
the
that could be
authority to
clarified.
look for them,
Yeah, sort of.
you know, just in case something comes, you know. But no, thank you, Blanche.
So one question as far as our belly dumps that we have now, are they not fixable?
They're just junk. They're
I mean,
45,
is it
50.
fixable junk is what, this is what she's basically saying. Do we have the money?
You
And I
can
know-
weld on them, the metal so fatigued, they're 45, 50 years old. They've just lived their life out, you know. You can go put $10,000, $15,000 in them and keep doing that, but, or just spend 30 and get something good, it's gonna last another 30, 40 years. They're wore out.
So like on belly dumps, are they used year round? If you're using
No.
year round,
No, just during the construction season,
and that is in the summer months?
yeah.
And yes, we use them first, before anybody. We use our own first. I didn't know if you heard when you were looking up. Okay, so, number 6, what does the road equipment inventory list for the type, make, model, and year for the belly dumps?
So do we have that list?
We do have that list, and we just actually put it together last year, and Sarah submitted it to Mako. And that's the list we put together. She never got that. And I mean, maybe Susie got it from Mako, but we put a list together last year with Sarah, and they getting rid of a bunch of stuff that was on the insurance. It shouldn't have been on there, and not just for the road, but for everybody, all the vehicles, ambulances, everything went through that.
Well, then a couple of.
Just
the
last
buildings
season.
even
Yeah,
have Stuff that, you know.
there's a current list that's done.
So, and then her question on, it lists 2 belly dump trailers, Load Kings, a 1978 and 1979. The active date for the 1979 is 2/18/2016. Is this when the 1979 used belly dump was purchased, or maybe when it was found not to be on Mako insurance?
I have no idea, but it was purchased. I don't even know when they purchased it, but it's been here.
So it wasn't purchased, you wouldn't know if it was purchased in 2016.
No, it was purchased quite some time before that.
Okay, and then.
Maybe they just finally put it on the insurance then, Blanche, I don't know.
Is there any public comments on this stuff?
So, yeah.
And we will, take and write you a letter of what we went over and that, and then if there's more, she can get on the agenda too, Blanche, huh?
Scott,
Thank
I
you.
was covered.
I have a comment.
Okay, state your name and stuff for the record.
Pat Verlanik.
Gonna go work on a road somewhere and we need a spur of the moment or just for 2 or 3 days. Everybody's so busy with their trucks and stuff. Now, it's hard just to get somebody that.
Well, we're up. Is there anything else on the road, Supervisor Paul?
No, I think so.
Okay, we're gonna move on. There's no other public comment. We're at 9:30. Gonna move on to Brandon Parrott, Dan Ritter's report, Georgetown Lake outflow review.
Thanks, we'll see you guys.
Rena has a comment.
Go ahead, Elena, on the road bridge.
Hey, Paul? Elaine,
Wait, Elena's got a comment. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. For some reason, I lost the sound, so I don't know if there was a continuation in the discussion or not, but I missed, is this going to be on the agenda again next week with the answers that you came up with? Because it seems like you should have had this and you should have read it and looked into it and had some of the answers. I was just wondering, so it's going to be on the agenda again next week?
well, it'll probably be on the agenda to send a letter.
Wait, have you addressed these
Yeah, we-
issues, do you feel?
Yes, I think we've answered to them to what we can, you know, and then that's why I was hoping Susie was on there, because she had questions. She's the one that brought them to us, so. I'd reach out with a letter or recommend that we send Susie a letter and then see how she feels about the answers. And then go from there. And if it needs to be on the agenda, Elena, yes, we will put it back on. Thank you.
Because I didn't hear answers, definite answers to some of the questions, you know, especially regarding when these dump trucks were purchased. There wasn't clarification on that, or the Mako information. There wasn't definite answers on that. So I think there needs to be more discussion.
Okay, thanks for your comment. We're gonna move on because we got a bunch of people here that showed up for the Georgetown Lake outflow and review. Thank you for your comments. We'll check into that. All right, we're gonna move on. I have the lake outflow and stuff here. It is 6428.25, 15 inches. That's
15 even?
What's that, Billy?
We gained almost a whole inch or more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because last week was 16.2 and this week's 15 inches.
Or 16.2.
16.2. So, and we have a report from Brandon Parrott. And it all looks good. I'll pass it around. They've been stamped.
So it went down,
No,
It went up.
it went up.
went up?
Went from 16 up to
Up
50.
was down, down was up.
And I have Todd Blythe on, so I'm gonna go
Okay.
ahead and, do you want me to unmute him?
Yeah, would you unmute, and we'll go ahead, and we have a lot of public comment in here. Brandon's here, you come on up, Brandon. He's a dam tender for people that don't know.
And Todd Blythe is unmuted too, so. Say hello.
So Scott, can I ask a question first? What was your outflow, 15 miners and
6, outflow 6,
Six
it
CFSs.
came up from 16.2 up to 15 inches below pool. So we're only letting out 6.
Maybe we should have comment before we do
Yeah,
the, you want the,
yeah, 'cause we got a bunch of people.
Todd's on.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Todd. He's the guy that took Dave Almond's place for the people in here. If you want to introduce yourself, and go ahead and start with the snowpack and go from there, and then we'll take public comment. Is that good, you guys? So you can hear what's out there? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah, my name's Todd Blythe. I think I heard you. I took Dave Almond's spot here doing these hydro assessments for the lake. Did everybody get the one that I sent out? Has everyone looked at that?
we can make some copies of that if we want, Billy.
If not, it's okay. I mean, I can run through everything here, but it sounds like you had the most recent lake elevation there. So I did this update last week, so it has come up a little bit since I did the write-up. But the inflows that we're looking at are about the same as they were last month. So there really wasn't a big difference in the model run that I did. They're sitting between 60 and 65% of normal for the inflows. So a pretty slow rise in lake elevation. And And that was for February. So I did a calculation for lake level at the end of February. Precipitation in January was above average, but February dropped back to being below average. And the snowpack has kind of reflected that too. I believe Peterson Meadows is at 85% of normal right now. And Warm Springs, Snowtell is at 99%, which is kind of up the North Fork there. So when you get a weighted average of those two, it's about 90%. So it's looking good, but it definitely is below normal. And then we have some other new tools that we've been using that show a little broader look across the landscape at snowpack. It's a product that's put out by the Weather Service, and it allows you to get an estimate of the snowpack at various elevations. And when we look at that, snowpack's pretty normal for most elevations. It's below normal, mostly between 6,000 and 8,000 feet. So that's where the deficit is for snowpack right now in the Flint Creek Basin.
Okay. Do you guys have any comments public comments for Todd? Being there's no, okay, move on. Do you have any other public comments here on this? Or we're gonna make a motion?
Well, I guess Pat Verlanik again, I guess I would have to hear your motion.
Can you stand up, please?
I would have to hear your motion
Okay.
before I would decide what I'm going to comment, but I guess I would also ask what's your plan of action, or what are you thinking at this time?
Okay.
Well, we're trying to fill the lake. And,
Correct, and that's good, that's a positive, I appreciate that.
Well, and I think personally, this is just me, but as of right now, where we're getting more, I'd recommend we stay as is, just so we can keep going, because we can always let some out, you know. But right now, we need to catch up, and there's not a lot of moisture out there. I know in the lower end down there, you know, it's pretty shitty.
Right.
So that's just mine, but I guess I'll
well,
recommend.
yeah, well, that's mine too. I mean, you know, but in the next few weeks, like I said last week, we're gonna have to start thinking about maybe raising it up a little bit more. We're at 6 now, that's pretty low going on. CFS, and you know, maybe we can go to 10, because we might hit a point this spring where we get a lot of moisture, you know how it goes, and then we'll be up above, and then everybody complain about that. My motion right now is stay at 6.
Okay, right.
I'll second it.
Okay, now, is a public comment on the motion staying at 6 CS coming out? Being you,
Well, I'd say.
you gotta state your name and
Yeah, I'm
stuff,
sorry, Gary Carlson,
okay?
the homeowners association in Georgetown. And I think your thought process is right. Let's watch it for another few weeks and see what's going to happen. Here's my stuff today, but we have to watch it and stand at the lower levels, try to catch up later. I think so. Good support.
Thank you for your comment, and Brad Learman's on vacation, so, and he was recommending, you know, when Billy has it, she can read what he sent to her.
Yeah, he said, he says that he don't think conditions warrant increasing the outflows at this point. The snowpack is still too low. But he will be available next week if we would like him to come in.
Pretty much we're all, I think, all on the same page. We gotta get some water in there so we can start managing. Is that what you guys are looking at?
Yeah, I think the more water you can store, then the better off all this benefits. So yes, I think at this time, yeah.
Well,
And I guess my other question is then, do is this gonna be a weekly
This is a weekly.
comment
Every
on
week,
every
yeah.
week? We're gonna
Yeah,
keep it
it's on-
at 6 or raise it to whatever?
Yeah, it's on every week. We try to keep it at the same time so people know, but yes, this is always on. And then, yeah, because we go over with this book every week, we have the records of what it's doing and that. So, yes, it is on every week and you can call in or whatever.
He's on Zoom every week too, if you Zoom.
And if I could get your guys on just,
Because we used to send it out to people too, and then we,
I could get emails.
their emails. On that, is there any other public comment on the dam? Now, being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion been carried and passed. We'll leave as is. And then
Oh.
accept,
Betty Munis, hold on, I have some hands up. Betty Munis is raising her hand.
I don't see no, oh, Elena's.
And then
hands up.
Elena is too. Hold on.
Go ahead, Betty.
I have to unmute. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you starting in early to be thinking about this. And I'm not sure who all is there, but I hope that there's quite a few ranchers involved. I have a little bit of concern. I was looking at Todd's information here, and I know I was following his February report. I know this is going to be critical time between now and April, and we see what goes on with the water. But to go down to 18, you know, our irrigation period is from May 1 to October 1. And then I know that's quite a bit to go up from 6 to 18, but it still won't fulfill the needs that we have for irrigation. So I'm a little concerned about that 18 number. I'd sure like to talk to some other folks on the ground to see what happens. And then I noticed in the February report, Todd had used an output for June of 37. And for the ranching community, you know, getting water on things early is really important. We don't know what the weather's going to be, but these weather patterns have been such that it can be pretty tough early on if we don't get water on. It makes a big, big difference. So I agree with, you know, hanging in there and trying to store as much as you can. We'll be watching this as closely as we can. And at some point, I'd really like to go out with Todd. Maybe some other folks would like to go out too and just get a better understanding of his measurements and how he does his things. It'd be good to get on the ground and see it.
Do you have a comment on that, Todd?
Not really. I mean, so that 18 in May is assuming you that it bumps up to 30 May 15th. Basically just split the month in half and take the average is what I was going for with that, just to try and get it as close to full pool by May 31. I think that, you know, it's unlikely that the inflows stay at 60% in April and May. I have a feeling they'll bump up enough that number could probably adjust. It's just so early right now that we don't have the information to know.
And that's why we're gonna keep on this really close right here. That's why we had this meeting, getting everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Alder. And yeah, I think, but do keep in mind that, you know, our water rights go from May 1 to irrigation rights go from May 1. So we'll be watching it closely. And I understand that you're up against it on all sides, that we do appreciate you sharing this and including as many people as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Elena.
Okay, thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record and point of reference. The people that are on remote apparently don't realize to raise their hand, they have to go to the symbol and raise their hand. Otherwise, they're not going to be noticed. At a time, now for the other, one other thing, Edward is on and he had his hand raised before, his physical hand. So he may want to say something. But to go back to Todd, I used to get the report from Dave Ammon. A whole bunch of us got the report and the weekly report. And I was wondering how would we get it, or at least put it up as a document for the
We don't-
commissioners meeting, so this way we can see what people are reading. I'm asking Todd. Thank you.
Okay, to answer your question there, we do not get a weekly report from him. It's it's not every week it was not every week from Dave on.
It was as requested.
So go ahead, what you say,
Edward.
Ed, I don't see the hand. So
Ed's hand isn't up.
go ahead, Ed.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I think Gary there from the Homeowners Association presented our point of view about keeping it at 6 CFS. As Todd mentioned to you, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. As Todd mentioned to you, not much has changed, and we should keep this and try to fill this lake as high as we can each and every year. It's the best for everybody around. In regard to Betty's comment, I was under the understanding that the irrigation rights are from May 15th to October 15th, not the beginning of the month. But let's just keep in mind that the level that the lake reached last year was the lowest it's been for over 25 years. And I think that was due in part to the fact we didn't fill the lake last year. And I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if it's backwards on your screen or not, but this is kind of the lake levels for the last 25 years, or excuse me, the last 4 years. And you can see here is where we're at right now. And we're really below where we've been for the last 4 years. And you can see right here is where last year about this time, it looked like people were concerned and started letting water out again, and the lake did not fill, as you all know. So I would think we would try our best to try to keep that lake level or to fill the lake each and every year. It's best for everybody involved.
We are, and then, yes, thanks for your comment. Anybody else? Blaine, go ahead.
One thing he said there was that wanted the lake as high as possible. The homeowners in previous years have been upset that it's been overfilled. So I think I don't know if that's where Gary left, but
Yeah, your guy left.
the May 15th is what the FERC order says, but oftentimes the inflows are much higher, and so you guys have the water to give it. Yeah, looking at it a week by week basis.
Any other public comments on this? Seems all none, all in favor?
I,
Any other out here? We'll just keep a close eye on it, and if you guys want to leave your emails here for Billy, she can. Jeez. Well, we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, we still got 10 minutes, sorry. We still have 10 minutes on it.
Yeah.
We can start, we can go off, if there's any comments, we'll keep watching.
All right, so we're gonna go off until 10.
So I wanted to mention one thing. The DOWL, DOWL on Thursday at 9. So we'll go over, he wants to go over the process of inspecting and looking at and making sure that it's safe, and then comment of any upgrading needed or anything that needs to be addressed at that point.
Good.
So,
Well, thank you.
good.
Good job. Any comment on that? Public comment on Brandon's? And thank you, Todd.
Elena has a comment.
Go ahead, Elena, on Brandon's. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. That's what it was a comment about, because apparently somebody started talking and then the mics went muted, didn't hear anything, and then they were unmuted, and then I heard part of the conversation. And so that's what happens when it keeps muting and unmuting and stopping the recording and starting the recording. So if that was Brandon, I missed what he said.
He's meeting with Al, 9 o'clock.
Do you want to repeat
Thursday.
On
that?
Thursday.
Okay, so I think what we need to make sure is that when recording starts, we know to start speaking. So you didn't miss anything, Elena.
Okay, see, I don't know. We don't know on remote because it jumps, it ends, it begins, and we have no clue. There shouldn't be any muting of the mics. And that's my personal opinion, and also public information and a public meeting. The mic should not be muted. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go off till 10. It's 10 o'clock, Granite Conservation District update discussion. How are you today? Oh, you gotta state your name and.
Name's Richard Hone. I'm with the Granite Conservation District. And the
I know you as Dick.
Headwaters.
Okay.
You can have a seat, you don't need to stand, up to you.
Yeah, well,
I'll always take a seat anymore. So you wanted an update on, I guess, the money that you guys had given to the Conservation District.
just kind of see what's going on.
Things are kind of moving kind of slow, but we are in the process and hopefully done with it as of yesterday, the job description.
Oh,
And hopefully we can have a meeting here shortly and figure out what our timelines are gonna be and finalize our timelines. We've been talking about it and get this advertised. Tentatively, we're hoping to have somebody hired by the 1st of May. So I'm sorry this is taking so long, but when you start throwing these things into committees, it
Okay.
slows down a lot.
Would you refresh me a little bit?
What we're trying to do is get a facilitator for the Granite Headwaters Watershed Group, so we can get started again and get going. And of course, we got the money from you guys, and we got some money from BOR, which is the Bureau of Reclamation.
So you did get money from them too.
Yes.
So your progress is looking pretty good then.
It is. We're hoping to be able, with the money that we've got, we're hoping to be able to keep somebody on board for at least 2 years.
good job.
And whoever comes on board, it's gonna be their job to try to keep money flowing, to keep this thing going. And in the past, it's worked. It's just that we get somebody and then they leave. It's not because we ran out of money. It's because,
Something else comes along.
yeah, and they leave, and then we don't have anybody, and then money slowly dwindles away. And then we're stuck again.
Okay. Is there any public comment on the Conservation District update? I appreciate you coming in and telling us. It kind of keeps us updated what's going on when we get asked, what's going. So, good job.
Whenever we get somebody on board, we'll definitely come in and let you know what's happening.
Good.
And so, but it's just the next couple of months, we're just in the process. All right.
That sounds good. Thanks for the report. And
Yeah.
good job.
Thank you, Dick.
Have a good day.
Yeah, see you. Wow, okay.
We'll go off till 10:15. We're back on. We're still on Conservation District update. Got a couple minutes left. If there's any public comment on that. 2 minutes left.
So it sounds to me like it was a good thing and money well used. That's my comment. Working. We did good.
Well, hopefully they can get somebody
Yeah.
hired and get in there. Boy, it's hard to find people to work. Oof. That new guy for Dave Omen sounds all right.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to hear. Maybe we can have him come in and sit down and meet him face to face.
He's really nice. He's really nice.
Maybe we can have him just meet him and
You know, last year on that, I kept asking everybody over and over, and everybody, oh, we got plenty of snowpack, it's gonna fill, you know, and everything. And then it got right down to the May 15th or whatever. And, well, then, no, then they wanted us to let more out because we had so much snowpack and everything. We wouldn't do it.
Remember we had all the moisture, then it just.
You just shut off.
Dead stuff. Maybe, one suggestion is maybe filling it and then just using the valves but you don't want to go up over 100 CFS on like with any damage.
Yeah,
But,
well, 70 was too much.
that
That was a mess.
we put a bunch and then we filled up the weir.
And since that homeowner act like you guys, that was Edward, you guys should be prophets or something and know what the exact, I mean,
Exactly.
it's a best guesstimation based upon what the forecast and everything else.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and go on to 2005-00886, request for reimbursement, Reddit field discussion and decision, and Billy has the stuff here in front of me.
It's another one from KLJ from that master plan reimbursement. They hope to be done with them. I want to say master plan in spring, March, or wait.
Isn't that supposed to be done in March?
Yeah, I think they're hoping to have it all done this month. I'll have to ask her how many year where they're at.
Is there a motion on this approval?
No, move to approve it. How much is it?
Just gotta make sure I get the right.
242, is that the, or is it
Total of-
3,800?
I think it's the 30.
38.
It's little?
I think that's where you guys are at total is the two.
Amount requested for reimbursement, 3,900.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
I
hard to
move
see.
to approve.
Yeah, it's
Requested
on that back
reimbursement
one. Yeah,
39.
right here, Billy. I didn't go far enough. It's for 3,900. Do I have a second?
I second.
Any public comment on this? Elena, go ahead.
Thank you. For the record, Elena Gagliano. I didn't hear Billy that well, but I'm looking on page 4, the invoice. So just to confirm, I think what somebody said, maybe Blanche said it. This invoice is for $3,900. Then the remaining amount that the county has to pay is $36,150. And I know there was a grant. And let's see, page 5 says the amount of the grant. But the amount that the county is paying, is that going to be reimbursed or that's the money out of the county pocket?
We're getting my understanding is we're getting reimbursed through the federal grant, the master planning grant that we received in August.
In August, it sounds like we will be reimbursed on this.
The whole amount? I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Billy.
We received the master planning grant in August of 2021, and we have been getting reimbursed through the grant. So the county pays these, and then we request reimbursement from the grant.
And that's gonna be in August?
No, we received the grant in August of 2021. And so then is what happens is we incur these expenses and the county pays these expenses. And then we request reimbursement from the grant.
Okay, so what you're saying is that what we're requesting for is 3,900 because we paid out 3,900, correct?
Yes.
And so percentage of completion of the project is 85.67%. So that means that we will receive more monies from this grant when the project is finished.
That's the way I understand it.
So a lot of grants, the way they work is they just send you the whole lump sum, but here's the
Yeah.
FAA is keeping so we have the grant, but you don't actually have the cash on hand, but you do the request for reimbursement and they then send it to us.
So if Elena's question is correct, she's asking if we still owe the 300 and some odd thousand, or is that the money that we're getting now in requests for disbursements, reimbursements?
So we get the reimbursements. I get an invoice every time that we get them. So we request these, at least I send this back to KLJ because they administer it for us. And then as soon as our reimbursement comes through, they send me an invoice that we've been reimbursed.
Okay, what I'm saying is we're requesting the reimbursements, and then by the end, it should total that 342 or whatever that amount
Yeah,
is.
you use up the
Okay.
whole amount of the grant, the
At the-
county won't have any above that.
Right, we're paying this, we're getting it, we're paying it, and the balance would be zero at the very end because we've paid it, we've been reimbursed, so there isn't anything due of the county.
Correct.
Does that help you, Elena?
Oh, yeah.
Does that help you, Elena?
I have to.
I had to wait to be unmuted. So thank you, Blanche. So the 3,900, which it says an invoice amount to be paid, you don't have to pay that. And then I have one other question.
Anything you're getting reimbursed for, the county's already paid. So then-
Okay, so then at page 4, it says invoice for February 16th. Isn't that being presented now? And the amount due is 3,900?
They attach all the invoices with the reimbursement, so we know where everything came from. We have our paper trail. She always sends them to me in a packet.
All right, my last question, I'm still confused. My last question is, what is the county's economic benefit to all these, whatever they're doing to Riddick Field? What is the county's economic benefit out of all these hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're spending?
Gonna have a new runway, widen it, lengthen it, possibility.
And how much money is that going to be bringing in? I mean, I don't see anybody using that except the people that have their own planes.
And then, yeah.
Well, I think this money here is just for the plan, and
Yeah, but
we
it's
haven't decided on the airport yet. I have to see the plan.
So you're spending all this money just for the plan?
It was a grant. It was a grant.
but
A
it's
grant?
Conditional on getting future grants, you have to have the plan.
Yeah, well, you have to have the plan.
Okay,
You have to have the plan so everybody knows what they want.
I got it. So KLJ makes out like a bandit with this. Thank you.
Their KLJ is making money. Yeah.
Well,
That's why.
They're doing work.
Yeah.
we're not spending any of our money, it's grant money, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
So all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion been carried and passed. Thank you, Billy.
Did you sign that one?
I give it to you.
I don't know.
gave it to me.
Did I? Was I supposed to?
I said,
We'll go off till 10:30, Billy. Being there no other public comments there. You come up with one.
oh, you have something at 10:20. You have county board appointments.
really. All right, so 1020 county board appointments.
Here's one. I got
Yeah.
staple this one.
We have a person for the county health board, Ashley Westfall. And the other board, whoops, I'll wait till you're done.
Do we approve this?
If you want to.
Yeah, I'll ask for a motion, I just.
Looks well qualified.
She was, yeah, nurse practitioner here for a long time.
Yeah.
Still does a lot of work,
Yeah. Trying to
Yeah. Doing the mental health.
She's a psych nurse practitioner.
Yeah, it's like working with healthy.
Grant County Network.
Well, I'll move to appoint Ashley to the county health board.
I'll second.
Any public comment on that? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the next one will be Jerry Kuhn, who's taken J.B. Hendricks's spot. And it's on the Valley Fire Department. And could we send Jay Hendricks?
Okay, I did.
Yeah, we did. Wow.
Wow.
Jeez.
She read your mind.
Yeah, that wouldn't take much. Well,
You're an
you
open
might
board.
know already.
You're working in your open board.
Right, Blanche?
What? I wasn't listening, I was reading. What did you say?
GLA sent Jay Hendricks a thank you.
Oh,
So
you did.
she read my mind. I said, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to read
Well,
that."
that's good.
Yeah, that's scary.
What do you think?
That's good to me.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. To appoint Jerry Coon.
Jerry Coon, I'll second it.
Any public comment on the Valley Fire? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed.
How is our boards doing? Are they getting filled up? or-
They are, I'm,
You really won't have.
yeah, I need people for the lead board. I don't have anybody on the Board of Adjustment. But yeah, I think they're pretty full other than that.
So these two, the board members in would finish the terms. I think that one for Jay Hendricks just started, didn't it? Or not?
He just resigned. And then
But when was, but they would
Oh,
be going through those same termination
This
dates.
is-
I'd have to pull up my paper.
Yeah, it'll take you a while, yeah. So, they reached out, and they had a little meeting with him.
So that's something good.
So,
He just, they can re-up.
So they would finish the term
And then.
of the vacancy
Yeah.
and then get
Could submit,
reappointed.
yeah, submit. Cause the Board of Health one's been vacant for what?
a while,
Yeah.
since that COVID stuff.
Yeah, across the country, there's lots of turnover in health officers.
We still got 3 minutes. Right, wait.
His term would expire in October of this year.
Maybe it states something like, then we see it for a long time. Leather stain. Oh, okay. Looking good for some help.
Right, this time.
Speaking of county roads, anything going on with that road? Did he remove their stuff or?
Well, we haven't, gave them 60 days to get in the petition to abandon, and then I was gonna have you guys get it on your agenda.
So how long has it
60
been?
days. Probably
Been
been,
about 30.
yeah, but 3 more days, it's, they could have it on your agenda, that I'm still somewhat hopeful they'll get their petition in.
Well, it doesn't have to be them to petition, does it?
No.
No.
But it's likely gonna be them, 'cause everyone else, yeah. Not too many people have a dog in the fight really, but, just 10, takes the 10 landowners to kind of sign it. It could be any 10.
All right, well, we're gonna move ahead and go to the 10:30 Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority update, discussion and decision. We have Dave Strohmeyer.
We have a lead. Oh, do we have Dave too? Oh, we have them both. Oh, I need them both.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, who are you speaking to? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Who are you speaking to? Who are you addressing?
I was telling Dave good morning. I said, Dave, good morning.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Commissioner. So I am at your disposal for the next half an hour, just so folks know who are not familiar with the Rail Authority. I am Dave Strohmeyer, Missoula County Commissioner and also Chairman of the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. Commissioners, I do have a few slides I could show from a presentation I delivered down in over in Billings at the MACO conference last week. If that would be helpful, I'd be happy to run through a few images and give you an update of what's going on with the Rail Authority, or we can just dive into any questions that you might have, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I got a question as Commissioner Hinkle. Is it gonna stop in Granite County?
Way too early to know where the station stops will be. We have not even conducted the kind of preliminary analysis of the route, other than knowing we are trying to get the North Coast Hiawatha restored. We will, in terms of the analysis coming up, and I can just jump right to the thick of it here. One of the biggest late-breaking bits of news over the course of the past 3 weeks is that the North Coast Hiawatha route, that is the route through southern Montana that would connect to the east of Chicago and to the west of Seattle, has been selected by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Railroad Administration as one of the routes that will be studied in the congressionally mandated analysis that was included in the bipartisan infrastructure bill. So over the course of the next month to 6 weeks, the Federal Railroad Administration will be developing the scope of work for hiring a consultant to conduct the study. They'll issue an RFP sometime probably a month or so from now. And they have to complete their work within basically a year and a half and deliver a report to Congress. During the course of that study and analysis, they will be looking at station stop locations. The obvious thing that almost goes without saying is that there won't be a stop in every single county in the state of Montana or North Dakota or Minnesota or Wisconsin, because if they did, you never get to your location within a timely fashion. So you just can't have the train stopping every 20 miles. So that's a long-winded answer to say, way too early to know whether there will be a station stop in Drummond or Powell County or you name the counties across the southern tier of Montana.
So why should we support this if it's not going to stop in Granite County?
Well, a few reasons. Well, you're already part of the rail authority, and we thank you for that. There's power in numbers. Having a seat at the table, and you have a director on the call here today who is a member of the Rail Authority Board of Directors, and Elena's service has been extremely helpful to date. And what this allows you is the opportunity to have a seat at the table along with the 16 other counties that are members of the Rail Authority to be able to help determine what the service is going to look like, to be able to help chart the course of what the Rail Authority's activities and work plan are. And also, and I think this is important too, and this is, let's take a county that probably will not in the near term have a passenger rail stop. Butte Silver Bow. Butte absolutely would love to have a station stop. They would love to see Home State Pass reopen, but the no-brainer is the only functioning rail line goes through Helena right now. So that leads you to the question, why would Butte Silver Bow want to be a member of the rail authority? Well, because if they are participating in the process and help us get this line reestablished, it's going to be a whole lot closer for them to travel to Helena to catch a train than drive all the way to Shelby. Plus, for communities that might not have an actual station stop, there is a precedent across the country for Amtrak transit services to help connect communities that don't have train stations to the nearest train station. So there's an opportunity for transit, and having a seat at the table, I think, is super important.
What's going to happen with this change of rail? You know, if they sold MRL to BN, what's that going to do?
Well, if anything, it's going to be beneficial, I think. And this is not to say anything disparaging about Montana Railway, because they've been a good partner thus far. But the reality is, going to Northern Santa Fe, and before I forget, you would be more than welcome to join us at our monthly board meeting tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Elena can provide you, or I can provide you with the connection information for that. It's a virtual meeting. At that meeting, we'll have a presentation by one of the vice presidents of Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And one thing I can say about BNSF is that they have vast experience working with passenger rail service across the country. This is not something that really was within the wheelhouse of Montana Railway. Montana Railway's experience resided completely with freight operations. BNSF has freight and passenger rail experience. And even more so, they are committed to being a partner at the table with us. And in fact, earlier this week, or I guess it would be late last week, I had a conversation with Burlington Northern Santa Fe's Vice President for Passenger Rail Operations out of Texas. And he agreed to join our board of directors as one of our ex officio board members. So for anyone who's wondering, is the host railroad, is the freight railroad at the table with us? Absolutely, they are at the table, and they're going to be on this journey with us, figuring out how to make this a reality.
I guess that's what I was kind of worried about, is is a passenger train gonna cut in on like when they're hauling coal and cars and wood and how that works around, or I guess they all got places they can pull over or what?
Yeah, they do.
Good question, Commissioner. So one misconception that some folks have is that we are proposing simply adding additional train sets to the current infrastructure without infrastructure enhancements. And that is not the case, because you're right. We are simply adding more trains to the existing system that in some cases has capacity issues. That's not helping anyone. So what we will be looking at, and what this analysis and study will be looking at over the course of the next year and a half, is what are the capacity constraints? How do you have both free flow of freight trains and also passenger trains that don't impede one another? And what this will likely include is the addition of new double tracking, additional sidings at strategic locations. And the conversations that we've had with both Montana Rail Link and BNSF are along the lines of how can we work together to look at ways in which we not only just don't harm each other, but in which we can actually seek mutual benefits, such that what's good for passenger rail will be good for their freight operations and their bottom line, and vice versa.
This is Elena. First of all, I want to thank you, Dave, for your kind compliment and hitting on those great points. Mention the meeting, which is the.
Just let her know that she can't cut in without.
Elena, you just can't cut in without me asking. We were still talking to him.
Dave still has the floor.
Dave still has the floor. Did you guys have any more questions for Dave? Did you, Chuck?
Well, I have a concern that, it seems like Congress bails out Amtrak all the time. It's just gonna pay for itself.
Did you copy that, Dave?
No, I'm sorry. I was unable to hear that. Could you repeat, please?
Is this gonna pay for itself, or how's it gonna be funded?
Yeah, thanks for that. It will be funded exactly like the Empire Builder or other long distance routes in this country are funded. And there are currently 15 long distance national network routes. This would be the 16th route. The way to look at it is that this is the rail equivalent of our interstate highway system. So in that case, it's part of the national network of transportation. It's a federal responsibility, just like the interstate highway system that doesn't fully pay for itself by way of gas tax. Or I don't know about your experience in Mineral County, but we don't have any toll roads here in Missoula County. And so the transportation maintenance here in our county under our jurisdiction falls in terms of investment, public investment. So very similar. The cost that you will pay for a ticket is likely not going to cover the full operating cost of the system, but that's just like every other mode of transportation that moves people, and that's just the way it is. What I can say is that the cost of the capital investment and improvement and also the operating costs are not going to fall to local communities, property taxpayers in the state of Montana any more than they do to folks who live in Hill or Blaine or Flathead counties in terms of the Empire Builder. Exact same sort of management scenario.
Well, has anybody brought the fact that we're 30 trillion, the federal government is $30 trillion in debt? I mean, so we're gonna throw this on there too?
Well, I will say that the infrastructure bill that passed last fall has dollars in it for not only the study that we're talking about, there are $15 million in it for that, but there are also several $1 billion in it for the capital investment that we're talking about for reestablishing these sorts of lines. If we say we don't want passenger rail in Montana, those dollars are going to flow somewhere else in the country. They have already been dedicated. So it's a matter of how can we see not only the cost side of the ledger, but also the benefit side. The rail authority this last summer actually commissioned a socioeconomic analysis that looked at what are the economic benefits accruing to those states that would see the restored North Coast Hiawatha. And the initial numbers that we got for the startup phase of this are in excess of $270 million flowing into and accruing to the states from Illinois all the way to Seattle and the state of Washington. Over $40 million would be accrued in terms of economic benefits to the state of Montana. So that's not insignificant when it comes to economic development. And also, I'd just point out in terms of other reasons why to support this, some of the earliest joiners of the rail authority, participant counties, were maybe unlikely suspects. They were some of the most rural, eastern Montana, sparsely populated counties in the state. Take Prairie County, for example, who has been a strong supporter of this effort from the very beginning. They have an aging population. Their residents need to travel significant distance to catch a train, to catch an airplane, to fly somewhere else, or to seek medical treatment, who otherwise might not be able to drive. So it provides a mode of transportation to folks who might not have many other good options.
Okay, is there any other comments for her, or I mean him? Go ahead, Elena. Now you can talk.
Thank you so much. Director for the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. Okay?
Thank you.
I am, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I have been asked to be on the agenda, if you recall. So I'm sharing it with Dave. Okay? He was nice enough to come on to be here. So I am.
When he has the floor, you can't take it from him. You gotta do the meetings in proper order.
I did. I started talking and I was muted. Okay, I asked, who are you acknowledging? And I was muted when the chairman said, Dave, go ahead. So I was muted. I mean, now I have my say. Are you going to cut me off because the next agenda item started at 10:45?
No, we're letting you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. All right. Now, with the question, first of all, the meeting, and by the way, I did send that information to you asking that you read it. Excellent links that are there. Also regarding the meeting for tomorrow, and the public and everybody is welcome to attend, question, and give comments. It's excellent. You really, and I've invited you guys several times before. Okay, so that's excellent. The next thing is I have been going around the county and people have been talking to me that they think this is a great idea. And a lot of them remember when we did have passenger rail service stopping in Drummond and also going to Phillipsburg. If you recall, I do have a letter from Phillipsburg. They support the idea. And just like Dave said, it's not in the immediate future, but with Drummond, they used to have a station. As a matter of fact, I did the history regarding Drummond. I was surprised how much of that town was built by the railroad. So that would be a great opportunity. And the fact that we are a member of BISPRA gives Drummond a chance to get whatever grants or whatever that to rebuild the station there. And when you were talking about the federal government not having money, well, we have done a study And this was the first study. And this is going to generate over $200 million each year in economic benefits. Now, do you recall I asked you that earlier about Riddick Field? What are the benefits that the county are going to receive for that? Hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant money that you've accepted. Okay. And who did you accept that from? The FAA. That is a federal agency. This authority and introducing the rail passage through southern Montana, again, not introducing, but restarting, regenerating it, will promote money and it will be self-financing. They will make money. Okay. I think I covered everything that I was going to talk about. Again, people in Granite County love the idea, especially for Drummond, because there's a lot of people in that age group, I included, that we loved driving, couldn't wait to get our driver's license. Well, now we're a little older and we would rather not have to put up with these roads and be able to go to Missoula, to the hospital, our doctors, whatever, theaters, or go to Helena. And that's why a lot of people support this idea now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. Okay, so thank you, Dave. It's 10. We still got. Is there any other comments, Dave?
No, I would just extend the invitation to join us for any of our monthly board meetings or any of our committee meetings. They're all public meetings. They're all held virtually right now. We would love to have you. As Elena mentioned, as best as I can, try to submit to the board of directors of the Rail Authority weekly updates. If you want to be on the list of those updates, Elena, I'm sure would be happy to forward those on to you. We are the largest transportation district currently in the state of Montana. And so this has not been unnoticed either regionally or nationally. We've become somewhat of a respected expert in terms of long distance passenger rail across the country. So thanks so much for having me parachute in for a few minutes here today, and don't ever hesitate to reach out.
Okay,
And I too want to thank you, Dave, and I want to thank the commissioners, and I hope to see you tomorrow at the meeting. I'll send you that information again.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to 10:45. Granite County resolution authorizing participation in intercap loan program for consolidation. Can't talk loan. This is the first reading.
Okay, now this is all set and done. We're all good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any public comment on this? We have to have this on 2 weeks.
We have the resolution.
First reading.
Just first reading, yes.
First reading.
Yeah.
And we added the exhibit A, so it has all the, I printed your guys, I didn't, because this is a big packet.
But it has all the vehicles
Okay.
separated out, which you guys have asked. Why?
So this is the good paper trail that was asked for.
Yes.
Every vehicle and every amount. Okay. Right. And going forward.
Yes, thank you. Any public comment on this?
So one question on this first reading, and will we have the second reading next week? And then it'll be approved and everything will be done? Or is it going to be still a wait to get this?
I thought it'd be approved
Right.
after the second.
Yeah, my understanding is they'll send the money.
Our funding
Okay.
date is the 18th.
So when?
Enclosed are the loan closing documents for Granite County. We will process the full amount through automated clearinghouse to the Clear Creek Valley Bank on March 18th.
Wired. What is wired?
So does the intercap loan people pay off the loans, or do they send us the money?
They send them, my understanding is they send the money here and the county pays off.
Okay.
And that'll need to be done right away to keep it, because 18, the dollar figures here are the payouts as of the 18th, my understanding.
So we have to have it to them by the 18th. For the payoff, right? Understandable. Yeah, get it. I get it. I got it.
Any public comment on that? We still have 6 minutes. We'll go off.
Okay.
All right, we're back on for the 11 o'clock one, and we've had no update or nothing on that.
Just last week,
Yeah.
Judge McLean had called me and said that it was closed, but yeah, I haven't heard since.
So on that note, we're gonna go to the gas tax map, because we missed it we ran out of time, and now that we have a little time, we want to get this done and get it in, so we're gonna lay this out. And if there's any public comment on this, go ahead.
Well, they can't see it. so-
It's just a yearly fuel tax certification of roadway mileage.
Last year, right? So
It went up, let's see, current mileage, offset 37 mileage.
Oh,
Total
what
was secondary, and there's 740.
this is running out.
So it's adjusted mileage.
32.791
Yeah.
more. Oh, okay.
More?
More.
Where'd you get more?
We'll have to look on it.
Well, it's big enough.
Upside down.
And there's different history, but it shows different ones, so
Do what?
they're all different.
Do you have anything where you can put it up on the screen? Or do you not use that? Does it show where the extra mileage is?
Usually, but
What is that?
Show it on the legend.
Oh, it's okay.
The legend show where it's new.
looks like they're putting these in up above, like.
Come on over.
That's not 32 miles.
Oh, I thought maybe
That's what I was.
thought it might be over here.
Usually they put on there. Unknown.
So what's this insert? Is that's that right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was showing is up there.
Yeah.
So if you add, if you add up all that, well, each map should have a different one. Because if they're putting that name on it, they'll understand it before, they'll show that, and that's what. That's different. This must be the city limits.
See what's new. Take their word for it.
So we didn't lose any, I guess that's the important thing. We haven't gained some. I don't know, I
Make a motion, accept it.
I make a motion that we accept the gas tax,
Mileage
the
certification.
mileage.
Oops, sorry, Mark.
I make a motion that we accept the mileage certification form in accordance with section 15-70-101 MCA.
I think you have to sign these.
Yeah, that's it.
And it looks like it increases, it's adjusted mileage of 32.791 more miles for Granite County, making the total 743,150 miles for Granite County that we get that gas tax on, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any public comment?
Nope.
Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's good. It's kind of hard to.
How are you, Missy?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Ready for spring.
Yeah, I'm ready
So-
for spring.
So yes, for this weekend, I like got my capris out, my shorts out, and started washing them, getting ready and stuff.
Yeah, and then put it away.
And Deb, our nurse, she goes, "Joke's on you, Jen."
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. You made it snow.
I know that's what Becky just said. She goes, "Jen, you're the one that brought that." I'm like, technically, you still need
Okay, I
snow.
mean, it's done,
Yeah.
but we put all the millings on that.
Yeah, last year
The
it
millings.
stopped. So
This is where we'll be taking the millings in.
Fire day.
Now, when we get them,
Where at?
right here, go off, if you come down into the fairgrounds. Down in, back over by here, so we go back in here and go over there. That big red barn. Charlie Parks agreed to put the millings in there. Just got to put one culvert in, probably lay some millings when we start going in there. But that ain't, we're not hiring nobody to do it. Just making the road better to go in there too, and then we can get a however long of a contract, so we're not sitting there like on the last one. You know, worried about swimmers.
So this is paved here, isn't it?
That's highway, yeah.
I mean, that's,
Running road.
do they have it unpaved?
Well, this is unpaved. This is along the edge of it right there by where Casey Reed, I don't know if you know him, but he lives there. Be on the north side of the highway, that road that you go up to the dump, you take a hard right and you come back east. It's an old frontage road. It's broke all up. So I guess we'll sign this one. Not hard, I don't know why they make them. You think they make
So-
them smaller when they sign.
Yeah.
Okay, airport road now is paved. They have it unpaved.
We laid millings on that airport road out there where it goes, you know, round comes down, if I haven't seen that. So we want to mark that as,
Yeah, I think it's,
So you say that again?
well, there's some of these like that, the airport road where we put the millings on, but are we calling that a paved or is it just a millings? Because if it's paved, then you gotta put the,
you know, I think we should have Paul come in and mark these, all the ones he has paved all over.
that's fine.
Before we send it in. What do you think?
When's this supposed to be in though? That's all I was worried about. Make sure that we get our gas tax money.
Yeah.
Billy, do you know when this is supposed to be in?
Here's the letter. We just got it, but I think it's pressing.
No, we could have him just stop in.
On or before March 11th.
So,
That's
It
Tuesday.
is the 8th.
yeah, today's the day. Yeah, it needs to be done today.
I mean, I think maybe that's why they are.
Well, I think, yeah, because there's that question on that and it has to be in today.
11.
March 11th.
Okay, so,
I just,
and they're saying that the airport road is dirt or gravel?
was saying it's
Please
unpaved.
indicate on the map all known name routes that are missing or incorrect. Also label the current surface type for all unknown or incorrect types on the roads themselves using paved or unpaved. So to me, that says we should be marking, if they have unpaved on the airport road, we should say it's paved.
Well, it's just, yeah, the millings are on it. I don't know how they're not, I'm trying to think how they said when paved, if it's like a highway pavement job or, see, we're just laying down reconditioning.
Do they have it as unpaved?
Here's a,
Unpaved. Is this unpaved too? That's paved too, isn't it?
unpaved, yeah. That's why I say, I think we should,
Well, I don't know. I guess you have to understand what's millings. Is this millings considered a paved road or is it just
No, it's
considered
just,
improved road?
Improved
So it'd be the same as an unpaved road.
Because it
that-
isn't, we're not paving it. It's just
So I
laying
think
down
as is, it's
chip.
probably just fine.
I think you guys just recommend go with what
Yeah.
they gave us and otherwise.
Yeah.
we're gonna
What we
be-
need to know is what is they consider,
well, maybe we should call these guys up and say, is milling paved or unpaved? If it is paved, have Paul come in and,
But we gotta have this back in by 11. then it's gotta go
well, you have
back,
to do it,
and then
you'd have
they
to do it
gotta
by
adjust-
tomorrow.
And they have to adjust it and send it.
how long
back.
do we have this?
We got it on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, they did that every year. They
Last year
they
we
just
did
give
the
it a
same
couple of
thing.
days.
Should have been opened and looked at immediately.
There's
And,
a fax.
who would you call for,
MDO, Montana Department of Transportation.
Give it a copy letter.
because you've got roads here that,
Who signed it?
yeah, it's define paved.
Who's the letter?
Four 6103 is the first number. His name's Brian Clapstein.
Here, you're talking.
Hi, you've reached Brian Anderson in the geospatial information section. Can't get to my phone right now. If you can leave a message, I'll give you a call back.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, this is the Granite County Commissioners, and we were calling you on your yearly fuel tax certification. And we wanted to ask you some questions about millings on what you're saying they are, if that's a paved road or just a reconditioned road. Could you call us back? 406-859-7022. Thank you. See, it says, did you guys read this? Here it says, passengers by two restrictions include current sales early to single See, it says right here, service type updates. Did you read that? On the down here where it says enclosed map review, and then road additions, deletions, names, or surface type updates should be identified on the map and returned with a signed certification form. So we're gonna put down every.
So here's a Brian at 444-7289. Want to try that one?
We can try that one. Yeah, we did the first one. We can try the second one.
6, 4, 4, 4, 7, 2, 8, 9.
MDT GeoInfo, this is Brian speaking.
Hey, Brian, this is the Granite County Commissioners, and we're going over your fuel tax certification. I left you a message on the other one just a minute ago, so disregard that. See, we're calling that. Because on the map it's showing it's unpaved.
You know what, I'll be honest, I am not a road surface expert. It all kind of depends on what the, you know, we have people that go out there and check these roads and what they think it is. Yeah, I mean, I think if we try our best, and if it's not asphalt, we should be calling it unpaved.
So we're just trying to get the mileage down, and you're showing us as it's showing that it's the current mileage is 710, 359, and then the secondary urban system is 32.791, total 743. So we're up 32 miles.
That shouldn't be the case. Let me check. Let's see.
Because it's saying it's due to 11. We're just trying to. There's some of this stuff that we put millings down, and we want to see how what you're saying that is. We're still getting paid for it though by showing it on there because it's still a two-wheel drive vehicle accessible.
Yeah. In the end, the surface type doesn't make any difference for the amount of mileage you get and the amount of money you get for it. But it's good to know the surface type.
Okay. But we did get 32.79 more miles, adjusted mileage approximately.
Let's see, 32. So are you saying last year you didn't have any on-system mileage? Is that?
No. I'm just trying to let you see us mileage certification form.
Yep. Yeah, there should be 32.791 on-system mileage, right? That's
more, right?
More.
Yeah.
No, that's just what you have total, and that should
adjusted
closely match what you had last year. Let's see.
It just looks to me like the way it's pronounced that it's adjusted more mileage. They put on more mileage, which is good for us. We just want to make sure before we sign everything.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. I'm going to bring up the letter. I want to read the language, make sure there's no issues here. Let's see.
Because you didn't take nothing away that I know of. I don't have the old.
No, yeah, nothing significant anyway. Let's see.
And then Orange outlined a piece up in this one corner on the county that looks like there's more mileage in there around.
Yeah, we made some city boundary changes that yeah, we just want everyone to be aware of.
Yeah, that added more mileage for us.
All right, so let's say Granite. All right, yes, Granite. All right, Granite. Okay, so yeah, so you should see 710. So okay, so you're talking about the adjusted mileage column. Is that what you're looking at? Okay, all that is doing is just it's just, because the secondary urban system is MDT's responsibility, we're kind of making the calls on what mileage, so that you don't have to worry about that and fill that part out. So if you added some off-system mileage, you could put that in the added or deleted, and then the total would be the adjusted mileage, and then that would add with that 3279 for the total. So there's nothing, so there's nothing significant being added. There shouldn't be any significant mileage change overall compared to last year, fraction of a mile.
So I guess the determination is whether we have unpaved, sorry, this is Blanche, unpaved roads versus millings roads. What's the difference? Or if it's even, what am I trying to say? A point, yeah. If we just should sign this and send it in and worry about it later, or what?
Between the millings doesn't make any difference. Like I said, I'm not a road surface expert. I'm not sure if we call that paved or not.
Well, it still goes back to what you're saying here, that as long as it's feasible for two-wheel drive vehicles access. Whether it's paved, dirt, whatever. But you guys just your marked it on there unpaved. We're just making sure that didn't get throughout. Make sure they have the correct mileage. And could we get this a bit earlier next year so we can look it over a little better, please?
Yes, yeah, we had a couple issues this year getting them out in a timely manner. But if you're having any issues getting this out by the 11th, don't worry about it. Just take your time. I know that you're working on it, so whenever you can get it to me is fine.
Okay. I got one more question from Commissioner.
So what you're saying is, if I'm correct, is right now we should go ahead and sign it and send it in. And could you get back to us on if it's any difference with the millings road or unpaved road or gravel road? I mean,
I will find out the answer, because you're not the first county commissioners to ask me that question today. So I need to get an answer on that so I can start answering these questions better. But yeah, I can definitely tell you it's not going to make any difference with the mileage. It's more just for our own internal analysis. If we have to do something where we have to know the number of miles of paved road. So I can get back to you with that answer. Okay.
So we should just go ahead and send it in then.
Correct?
Yeah.
We'll sign it and send it in. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome. Yep.
Bye.
Yep, bye.
Yeah.
You already did a motion, you did a motion on there?
Yeah, we did it. You gotta sign it.
I don't know if you guys voted on it.
All in favor? I motion we carry the pass. Any public comment on it? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would just say,
What's that? Oh, I thought you were telling me. So, number 23.
That one,
Uh,
is signed.
we still got 7 minutes to go, or no,
Oh,
we got
you're-
11:15, sorry. PrEP update with Granite County Coordinator Jennifer Robinson. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna be really quick about this. Just a couple notes. Granite County has been COVID-free for a solid week.
Whoa.
No cases for a solid week, which has been amazing. What I did want to be on the agenda today is that the laptop I have for FEP is downstairs, and the monitor on the laptop goes like this. It's like a heart monitor, and you can't see half of it. So I did go through DIS,
Mhm.
and I think I sent it to.
Oh, I didn't print it though.
Okay, so this is what the DIS is saying for the price of what they think a computer should be is $2,800. I have a problem spending that kind of money for a laptop. So it was advised to me to bring the DIS and a Dell that's comparable to what they have price-wise. So the Dell is about $1,500 and the DIS is $2,800.
Do we have any of them other computers left over, or do they meet at the PrEP? When we got a bunch of computers?
I don't think we have any.
I don't think so, and I don't
I
think,
just
I
curious.
think Becky said there was none either.
Okay.
So I just want your guys' guidance on which way we should
So-
go. There's money in the FEP to go either way.
We do contract with DIS.
Yes.
I don't know if you talk to them why there's a big difference or,
The biggest thing is that the comparable computer that I would want is the 2,800 that they're saying is that they need to have, they're the ones that need to build it so they can tap into it to fix it and
Right.
stuff like that, or tap in where I can tap into the courthouse.
well, I think,
I don't ever tap into your guys'.
well, there
Wi-Fi
might
and
be a
stuff.
time where you could and you
Right.
should. And because we have a contract with DIS, I think we should go with DIS.
Okay, that's, I just need to know which
Yeah.
way you guys wanted
What do
me
you
to
think,
go.
Scott?
Because there's money in the account. Becky and I
Yeah.
sat down and we budgeted everything out for the rest of this term.
Go with the people that we've been going with. is what
The
you're
DIS.
saying,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Yeah, I know you're trying to save money, but probably in the long run, it's gonna cost us more if you had to.
right.
So, yeah.
Okay. That was what I just needed your guys' guidance on which way to go. Because like I said, Becky and I sat down for a good few hours and went through the budget for FEP.
And
So-
so the 2,800 is feasible and you can do that.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it's covered.
What brand is the one?
Pretty sure, yeah, it's a,
Was not good, so yeah, Dell.
it's a Dell Mobile Precision 5760.
That's what I have.
Is there any public comment on this?
No.
Can I make a
Yeah.
comment?
Yes, ma'am.
We were looking at last week's comparing budget with the hospital and with the count, and there was a discrepancy in the count of the deaths.
Oh, I dug into this. This was, and I did respond to Elena. So, did you guys see my email that I said? I copied the commission on it. So, there was a discrepancy in COVID case count and, COVID death numbers in the county.
Oh, we
In the
talked
hospital,
about
the
it.
hospital in fact.
Between the hospital and the FEP
Yeah.
report, it happened to be dated the same day.
Oh, okay.
I reached out to Jackie because Jackie gave her FEP report that day.
I know.
And it's what had happened was, so Maria Stockler will call Jackie, and she called Jackie that morning when she puts together her report, and she asked for the COVID case count, which Jackie had given her, and then they happened to get another case later in the day, which she updated Maria on, but Maria had already made her report, so that was the discrepancy of the one in the case count. And Maria actually never asked public health for the death count. And Jackie had explained to me that the death that they received an update of that day, making it the 10 deaths, was a death that took place in October. So it does take an awful long time to get that information. And that there's a long delay in getting those accurate numbers, but they just get that information from the state. They don't know what's on death certificates or anything like that. They just get a number from
The one, I do want to comment on the one death that happened in October, because I was the one that was notified a few weeks ago about that. This particular case had COVID and had to explain to Jackie when she was doing the case is that this person was feeling fine, didn't have no problems, and met the quarantine time, didn't seem to have any issues. It was the next day that this individual went to the emergency room in Anaconda and died in the emergency room. And so this individual was not honest with the public health that he still had symptoms. And so this individual had a hard time breathing and passed away of COVID. So we didn't know about the death until just a few weeks ago, because the state had just received the death certificate. And so they notified us, and so we had to do it. Right, we just didn't know. So we had to do a quick investigation on it to see what's going on. So we called the hospital, we called everybody we could.
What's the complaint then, just because we're not getting everything right?
The numbers at the time were probably not matching that same day.
So this is what
we talked
happened,
about
and
last week.
And last week we were going over the hospital because she wasn't here, and her death count was different than the death count than we have. And so there was a comment made on it, and that we should be aware that one is not the same as the other. And so you responded and explained why there was a discrepancy between the two.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, and did that meet with this person's standards?
I believe so. I didn't receive a
Okay.
response back, but I did also refer them to reach out to public health because they could give a better response. That's where I got my information.
So this is just something that, Blaine, correct me if I'm wrong, if we're one saying one and one saying another, it's not, how are we supposed to
Well, they come in
police that and say, this is wrong, so don't give us this
Educate new
information?
you can update it, but there might be some.
So,
well, and then stuff like we talked last week, Blanche, is that stuff comes in at different times. So we don't, one could be at
Exactly.
8 o'clock, the other at 10 o'clock. So I think the people are doing awesome. There's gonna be little faults and stuff, but I mean, every time,
I'm just relating to you that this is what
no, I
was
understand.
mentioned last week, so.
I was trying to listen in on the
Yeah.
commission meeting, but I was also doing training with the state with the, some of the FEP that I had to have done prior to all that, so I couldn't make meetings. So I do apologize, I was not here. I did have Jackie give the report. There is one more thing I do want to mention to you guys. In 2 weeks, I will not be here to give a report. If you would like, I can get all the information to Jackie that morning, but I will be in Alabama for that FEMA training. And so I'm not allowed to have my cell phone with me for the whole week.
So we could probably
So if you
wait until you're back.
table it
Yeah.
till I'm back, that would be
Unless
fantastic.
there's emergency or something, and Jackie can get a hold of us, or you can get a hold of Jack, whatever, and then
Right,
if
and
there's something that comes up that's really bad or sick, we could, yeah.
I did put in a request today to FEMA because we've been back and forth all day this morning with the FEMA, is that I request that my work cell phone be with me because I am the FEP coordinator and I do need that for emergency. So I can get hold of Jackie if need be or whatnot.
And you
And
have
so-
that phone that we've had for that, right?
We didn't have a phone for that.
We never?
No, we've straightened it out.
It's been straightened out this morning. That's why I came early this morning. So the phone number you guys have for FAP is that number. Yeah,
The old,
I carry around 2 phones.
the old one that we had is the same one, like if I need to get a hold of you?
Yes, yep. It's the same number for the past year, but we got all the kinks worked out this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's an amazing story.
It's all,
It's all good.
So the number you have, Scott,
All's
just
well
keep
that
calling
ends
it. Just keep calling the same number for Deb or me, you'll be fine.
What mine's was for Dustin, so that's the same number.
No.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, so let me give, because I believe I gave you guys my phone number is 559 7694.
So that number that we had before that were just, that's hot and gone.
Yeah, that was Dustin's probably personal phone number.
Not that you don't do awesome work, my dear. Thank
But if
you.
you do need to get hold of me, that's the number to get hold of me. It's with me 24/7. Other than it's in the other room right now because I didn't want it ringing in here. But I am working with FEMA so I can have that phone in my training. So if something does hopefully never come up, but I can at least get hold of you guys, Billy or Jackie or whatnot. But that's my report. I'm excited. You guys have been COVID free for a solid week. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any comments for me? It does say
Was that-
in there, it says discussion and decision.
Is it, but is it,
Well, I think
is
we
it
already
for the,
going to Alabama or
Wait a minute.
whatever.
The what? I don't need it for Alabama, no, because they're gonna provide me a laptop there. I just need to know if I can order it tomorrow when I'm with Jackie, because she's got the credit card.
Entertain a motion on that.
Okay.
I make a motion that you get your 2800 computer from DIS.
Perfect, I'll just send an email out.
No, second.
Any public comment on that? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, pass.
All right, thank you. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys in a little while.
Good job.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're 5 minutes behind. We'll go ahead into the Granite County TV district update.
Yo.
I just wanted to listen to what was,
oh, the TV district one?
yeah,
So the two.
that was it.
I didn't fully look at all the statutes before we talked last time. When you modify a district, it's just like doing it over again, you know, creating one. So you have to send out the mail to every landowner and say, and give them an objection period where they can send an objection. Do you want to go in for that whole process here when you're not actually going to collect?
Are we, here's my question with this, is because of the fact that our board now is down to just 3 individuals and they're covering the whole county more or less. So is this okay? Can we do this because the districts are not being levied and we donate PILT into it so that there's free TV for people?
I think that what allows you to do it is that you can't find enough people to be on there, so it's by necessity. I'd say we go back then to Plan A, potentially on the bylaws and do some bylaws that are consistent with that.
How many you need to have down there? 1 or 2? 3 for sure.
How do you look at
Can
it,
it-
modifying the bylaws, just modifying the bylaws that say they can have the same board?
Same board for both districts. Can you do that?
Yeah.
That'd be easier than mailing all that
Yeah.
out and stuff, right?
How about I email out all the draft bylaws and have it on the agenda again next week? So everyone can take a look at it.
Can a commissioner be on the TV district?
The way, so the statute is that basically the commission has basically supervisory control of the district. But
I was just trying to save the rate.
what I suggest is that bylaws say that they have their meetings in here, you put it on the agenda, you do them all together, and that way it's easiest for everyone. So that's the way I have the proposed bylaws written. So email them out, we can be a work in progress and have on the agenda next week for work session or approval or whatever.
That sounds good.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
That's a lot of work for, I guess if you want to, down the road, do levy on it, and
No.
we can.
And we'd have to,
Yeah,
we
go
don't
through
want
the
to.
process. If, and if you wanted to expand it to be countywide, then you have to.
I'll just put it back on and just go that route. You good with that?
Do what?
Looking at the bylaws, trying to get bylaws, is that what we're?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion on that or just put it on agenda next discussion decision?
Okay. What you said. No.
You have the power of the chair.
Okay. All righty. Any public comment on that? No. Okay. So we'll do it. We'll put it back on and go through the bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you for doing all that you do.
And we have a TV there, you can see how fabulous the picture is.
Do you have the TV? Got it all. Where'd you put the antenna?
I actually brought one from my house because I bought one, but we're gonna take it back. I have one of those flat ones that I just have it taped to the window.
Really?
And then the TV's up on top of the filing.
I looked at
Up there.
it. Pretty good.
And so you can see it, we have it
How
on
many-
PBS Create right now. You can see some quilting or some cartoon shows.
How many channels you getting?
17. You get
Wow.
17 channels. So
I
people
only
can
counted
see it.
16. What am I missing?
They have us.
I don't know. Oh, you know what, Mike, that 17th might be that saying that you've got 30, that 30 isn't anything.
Oh,
Count 'em out.
okay.
So anyone that comes in, then they can
They
say,
can
look what
see
you
everything.
can, look what you can do with your,
Yeah.
with
Right,
free.
as long as
For
you can
free.
see it there.
Don't be
So-
watching that and not getting your work done.
We have it turned down, we have it all the way off, no volume. But
That's
every
good.
once in a while we go, ooh, that looks yummy.
Good
Good
job.
advertising for.
Well, that's what we're
Good
trying,
job.
yeah. So I don't know.
Do you have a big sign?
No. Free TV.
Free TV.
No, we don't want all them people coming in here sitting, watching TV.
Oh, no, free TV for you at home.
Yeah, for them at
For
home,
those,
yeah.
for those of you at home.
Don't loiter.
Picnic.
So when I talked to Emily a little bit, so I just need to get Steve together and we'll do something. Charlie, he's gonna be bringing the Montana PBS here as soon as spring comes.
So
And
can we
can
get our
up
money
there.
back from Spokane? No. Or can we sell it? No.
Oh.
Never.
No,
Just kidding.
Spokane will disappear. There's people that are disappointed about that though.
Disappointed that they're losing Spokane.
Uh-huh,
They were
Aren't they real-
disappointed that it was Spokane.
right.
Aren't they real
So,
similar to
These
the
are
Montana
different
News?
people,
Or what-
different people, so.
Are they totally different programming or? is it-
Yeah, you get more Montana programming, this will be the Montana
Yeah,
PBS
Montana
rather than
News.
the Washington thing. Yeah, because each of the television stations, they purchase their own, packaging, like, over in Spokane, they have the original Creatures Great and Small, they show that on Sunday nights, sometimes, somebody really enjoys that, but that won't happen anymore, but there's, it's all, it'll all be good. 'Cause But, I don't know, I'm still gonna try and work on Charlie or these people to come in here and actually just sit down and visit with us and see exactly what we can do and can't do in the future. And try to get
Yes.
an estimate of
Yeah,
what
put it on the
we can and
agenda
can't do.
so we can. hear it.
Yeah, so I was just trying to get them pinned down
Find out
for a
when they
time
can
so
come
we can get
and
it.
do that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know how interested Charlie, he's trying to get out of it, but there aren't people
He's a
that
good
are
guy.
as knowledgeable as he is.
He's a
So
good
we're
guy.
kinda.
Trade someone else.
He'll do it. Alrighty.
We're trying.
Is there any other
We
public
need-
comment on the TV district? I thought I seen that.
We need to tell Charlie too bad. He can't ever retire.
Right. No going to Belize for
Yeah,
you.
no.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we got 3 minutes. Then we'll go to the National Guard. Right.
No, we're fine.
It's got my notary deal renewed, that's lots of pain.
Really?
to do a 4-hour course now every 4 years.
For a notary,
Yeah, and then you have to take a test.
McKinsey just had to.
Yeah, it's and you gotta get the bond. They're just making it, people not gonna wanna do it. They still cap it at $10 for it. Not that I charge people up there, but it's, yeah, the state of Montana, we gotta figure that out.
Want to get it changed?
Yeah, maybe we need to
Might
talk
have
to
it in, I
the.
might have it in there, write it up.
It's good to, yeah, I mean, I guess to have some refresher, but the whole system, the whole deal is so complex and time consuming and, yeah.
Let's
we can
change it.
simplify it. Talk to, which one?
Whichever one wins.
They're both all right. Let me know. And they probably did have notaries that were doing things wrong, but maybe exception for attorneys and notaries, too, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either way.
sometimes. Or paralegal too.
Okay, we're gonna go on to the 11:45, Montana National Guard's limited use request for Drummond Airport and Riddick Field Airport. Discussion and decision, this is on them helicopters landing, sometimes when they come through, they've stopped there before, I've seen them land there, and, I think it's a good deal. Rex Radke was talking to Ernie, the chairperson, and I never did get back, hear anything back from him.
So, one of the things that we only received, they were gonna send us an agreement for Riddick Field as well, proposed one. I don't think we got it. So you could, don't know the dates on that, so I guess you could table that one, but so this is just on the Drummond Airport.
So this one's just on the Drummond Airport?
Yeah, we put it on the agenda just in case you got, they were gonna send us one.
So I'd entertain a motion or
I will give permission to land helicopters. A motion.
Just to approve that agreement on Drummond Airport.
I approve the agreement. I make a motion that we approve the agreement to land helicopters on the Drummond Airport
To the National Guard
to the National Guard. Montana Army National Guard
on June 6th to the 10th.
on June 6th to the 10th, 2022.
I'll second.
Okay.
any public comment on this? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed. They can land. Being that, is there any other comments or anything?
Agenor? Agenor?
I speak in French to you.
Let's adjourn.
Oh, I thought it was motion.
I thought you said is what's her name on there, like, I don't think nobody. I'll make a motion that we adjourn, being there's no public comment on this. I gotta stay for a little bit, so I can leave this on, I got a couple things to do, so if somebody calls or something here. Other than that, we're adjourned.
Adjourned. Okay. Adjourned.
Good job, you guys. Good day.